Jared, it's a great week in wrestling. It's a great problem to have when you're planning out what you're going to do for your live show and you have all of these things planned out and you know the order of the show, and then something happens on Monday Night Raw that causes the order to just totally change and you're leading the show with something different. Jared, I dare say it would be because it's WrestleMania season. Welcome to Squared Circle Radio. What a show we have for you here tonight. If you're watching us live or you're watching on the replay, we appreciate you being with us. I'm your phenomenal host, Mr. Podcasting Chris Belcher. That is my brother from another mother, the whole podcasting show, Jared, the Supreme Court Justice, back on the show. Jared, how are we?
Doing good, man. I'm ready to talk about some Seth Rollins. Yeah. I'm ready to talk about some John Cena. Yeah. I'm ready to talk about some CM Punk. Yeah. Let's get this thing going.
And we got a whole lot to talk about. As I say every single week, I got pages and pages of notes here. But you guys that are watching live, drop your comments, drop your questions. We will talk about what you want to hear about, because after all, this show is for the fans, by the fans. So we're here just to have a good conversation. Like the video if you would be so inclined, and please subscribe to the show. It helps us grow our viewership and it just makes the channel look better, and then you guys can come have fun with us. So subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you a thing. We would appreciate that very much. Jared, tonight, Monday Night Raw, well, this afternoon rather, was the last show of this 3-week European run that we have been on. Obviously, WWE has done house shows alongside the Raw and SmackDown live shows that they've done. A lot of fans, Jared, as we dive into the show tonight, a lot of fans online are happy that this is over with. Like, I know we've gotten some weird start times for TVs, but what have you thought? This is something that we've never seen WWE do, at least from a live television perspective, on the way to WrestleMania. European crowds, hot crowds overseas. What's been your quick thoughts as we wrap up this run?
I wish we could keep going on this run, man. I love the earlier start time. I love how awesome the fans are. I mean, you don't have to kind of, put your hand to your ear and get closer to the TV to hear exactly what they think about everybody that's on the TV being displayed in front of them, or about what's going on with all the angles, man, all the stories. I mean, it's immediate reaction and you can hear it.
Yeah, they're just loving it, man. Like all of these shows, most of which I think, with the exception obviously of London and I think Glasgow, with the exception of those two cities, all these others have never had live TV from WWE. So these crowds are hot. They're anxious for it. They want it back. They're proving why they deserve to have it back. I'm with you, man, especially like on the road to WrestleMania. Next week, Chicago, SmackDown, I think they're going to be hot, but then no offense to Minneapolis, but next Monday's Raw is in Minneapolis, and I don't know if it's going to be as hot as Brussels or as London or, whatever. So we're spoiled over the last 3 weeks, as we said, with a lot of these international pay-per-views as well. But regardless, Jared, we're on the road to WrestleMania. It's a hot time. And as I said to open the show, we were going to talk about Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk to open up the show, because what a segment on SmackDown it was. But then, as you saw on the thumbnail for the show, as you see in the shot behind me, these two guys went toe-to-toe on Monday Night Raw tonight. And Jared, it is exactly what we have been begging for the last 2 weeks. I know I've talked to you on the phone about it, and I said, I'm ready for it to be ready for something else. I'm ready for the next step in this. And man, shots were fired in this promo. I was on the edge of my seat, dude. What about you?
Man, I've been looking forward to this, but I also have been a little bit timid because I was scared that Cena was absolutely going to eat Cody alive. But I don't know if they held him back. I don't know if Cena was going all out, but it sure seemed like Cody stayed right there with him, man, especially about the old Vienna sausage in the jorts comment. That was pretty great.
There was so many good comments from both guys, man. Cody acknowledging the tattoo first, and then Cena saying that it was dumb that he did it. Cena really giving all the politically correct answers and Cody really giving all the rallying the troops answers kind of thing. So it was
have you ever watched 8 Mile with Eminem?
I've not.
Okay. So basically, during their rap battles, Eminem gets to his final challenge, the best rapper that they have going up against Eminem. And
Mhm.
what he does is he takes everything that he knows that other rapper can make fun of him about and just uses it on himself, just puts it out there. And the other guy's like, he just drops the mic because there's nothing else left to say. And that's exactly what Cody did. I don't know if this was like, come on, guys, let's just go out there and give them what you got, or if any of this was planned. But what Cody did was genius, especially if it was not planned.
Yeah, I wonder how much, because we know that Cena likes to be off the cuff, and we know that he likes to, that's how he got the Dr. Thugonomics gimmick, is he was freestyle rapping and Stephanie McMahon heard him. So we know that he's done a lot of off the cuff stuff for his career. And I'm sure Cody likes to have some sort of plan. So I'm sure there were, hit points along the way, but for the most part, I feel like these guys probably just went out there and riffed a little bit, and Cody stood toe to toe with him, like you said. And for all the shots that we took, Cody made fun of himself for getting booed in AEW, the company that he created. And, Cena telling him that he stole the billionaire's son's money and all this.
That was good.
That was hilarious. But man, Cody's shot about Vince McMahon and how Cena was Vince's guy, dude. The reaction of the crowd and everything. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
You could hear it. It wasn't just like an instant reaction. It was like a gasp, like a, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great, dude. Again, regardless of how this whole thing came about, I loved what happened, man. I thought they both hit home runs.
Yep, I did too. And the crowd thought the same thing, because Jared, if you noticed, as Cena was wrapping up this promo and him saying that he was going to take the Real World Championship home with him, he got some cheers, man. Like, I know that it seems like doing this overseas, maybe they thought it would be better on, Cena getting booed, which he has definitely gotten booed. But over the last couple of weeks, Jared, people are starting to get a little bit behind him. It might be a good thing that this is supposedly the last appearance by Cena before WrestleMania.
Yeah, there were a few interesting takes that they had. I did notice that Bianca Belair also got booed, it sounded like. And she's not even like a heel as far as I know. I mean, they've just decided that they don't like her. And I mean, that's awesome. But it did worry me, yes. I really hope that everybody stays behind Cody and that they don't do exactly what I did, which was end up loving this version of John Cena and
buying the t-shirt and the hat and the whole 9 yards.
It worked on me, man. It's been forever since I bought myself any kind of clothing, especially a wrestling related clothing.
Yes.
But the hat and this shirt, had to have it, man.
Listen, I can vouch for that. A lot of people, might be listening to this and be like, oh, Jared's just blowing smoke. He's been watching wrestling his whole life. Of course he buys wrestling stuff. No, I can't tell you all how many times I've tried to talk Jared. Won't you buy this shirt? Won't you buy this shirt? That's a cool shirt. That's a cool shirt. And Jared's no. He's held his ground. And then here he is in John Cena gear.
Yes. And I love it.
Yeah.
Fits quite nice. WWE, we will take a sponsor. I mean, we'll push your stuff. Just holler at your boys.
Here it is, Eddie. I'm wearing the new Cody Rhodes hoodie. I'm wearing a hat, WWE hat. I mean, I wear shirt every week. So yeah, sure. Throw the gear our way. We would appreciate it. Jared, one thing to talk about with this promo, because again, we got 2 weeks. I don't know how much we're going to talk about this over the next 2 weeks. Of course, we're going to preview it during WrestleMania week. With Cena not being on the show, I don't know exactly how much we'll dive into this, but as we look at this promo, there were so many things that we wanted. We're going to get to the physicality in just a second, but the big thing, The Rock was finally brought up in this promo, Jared, and Cody bringing up, why did you do what you did? We haven't heard why. And I wasn't the one that sold my soul to The Rock. You did. So it's finally been acknowledged. So, Jared, if you're putting your fantasy booking hat on, we haven't seen Rock since Elimination Chamber. We probably won't see him until WrestleMania. So, what do you think The Rock's status is with all of this? Like, where do you think The Rock fits into all of this? Because I think they've done a great job of separating heel John Cena from what happened at the Elimination Chamber. So much so that they're clearly investing in it, and it's going to last longer than just WrestleMania, in my opinion. So, where does The Rock fit into all this?
Have you heard of the theories that are kind of going around about that there's a possibility that Heyman could end up aligning himself with Seth Rollins,
Mhm.
and that could be you push kind of Paul Heyman that way.
Yep.
You have the Rock that could. I don't. I think he's going to step out of the picture a little bit, and I think he's going to come back after WrestleMania. And the only thing that makes sense, man, is you either have him come back because John Cena loses at Mania and he's the one that's going to take Cody's belt.
Mhm.
I mean, or I guess you could have John Cena win the thing and then eventually have Cena drop it maybe toward the end of his run and have The Rock pop up, and that's the last final boss. You beat everybody else. You beat his henchman. Now you face The Rock. But it does seem like they're kind of pushing him out of the picture, maybe aligning different people with other people. It seems like they're kind of mixing up the turds in the toilet bowl a little bit.
What a reference. It's not one that I expected to hear tonight. They're definitely planting seeds like that they can always go back to, and they can, once something comes up, oh, well, we told you this a long time ago. And we'll talk about that with the Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins CM Punk match. But once we finally got The Rock brought into this, I'm not sure, to answer my own question, I'm not really sure where The Rock fits in all this. I
You
tend to
had to
think
speculate. You made me.
I know. I tend to believe that The Rock and John Cena will not necessarily be attached at the hip, but they'll be acquaintances for a common goal of taking out Cody Rhodes. Because if you listen to John Cena's promo tonight, it was all about the reason I did it is because Cody, you're a phony. You're not true. I tried to teach you all these lessons and you're not listening to me, and blah, 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 blah. Well, you go back and you look at The Rock, and The Rock doesn't want Cody to break his heart again. And Cody beat The Rock at WrestleMania. So, that's embarrassing to the final boss. So I think Cena and Rock will loosely be aligned enough to probably have some sort of mega tag team match at SummerSlam where they team up against Cody and, at this point, probably not Roman Reigns, maybe Randy Orton, maybe you pull somebody else out of the hat, maybe you rope Seth Rollins back into this. I don't know exactly, but I think, you're speculating that SummerSlam is 2 nights. You got to have big matches for SummerSlam this year. It's in a stadium. So probably extending that long. I don't know for sure, but I do like your idea of like, okay, Cody, whether he wins or loses at WrestleMania, gets his belt back from Cena. Then he conquers The Rock at some point. When that is, I have no idea. But regardless, Jared, we got the physicality that we have been longing for between these two guys. Cena went for a cheap shot. Cody caught him with the crossroads. Cody is standing tall yet again. So he beats up Cena this week. Last week, Cena walked away from him. And the week before, Cena was in silence. So, Jared, that's really 3 weeks in a row that Cody has gotten the upper hand, and we're probably not going to see Cena until WrestleMania. So that begs the question, man, what does this look like for WrestleMania? Like, if this is all the build that we get, doesn't this sort of point to a Cena win?
I would think so. I really, in my mind, I don't know how that they further things if Cena doesn't win. But one of the reasons why I mentioned Paul Heyman whenever that we're talking about this is in my head. It just feels like at some point these stories are going to intertwine,
Mm.
like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Seth maybe getting together with Paul Heyman. Maybe Reigns gets upset. Somehow he comes back into the picture. The Rock steps back in. We've got all these big personalities. I mean, you could build this whole thing up and have an entire different scenario that's already basically kind of cooking, as everybody likes to say, for next year's WrestleMania. I
Yep.
mean, these two storylines intertwine. But back to your point, without getting too far off the rails, the only thing I see, man, is that Cena has to win. He has to win at
Mhm.
WrestleMania for this thing to keep going.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough if he doesn't. Like the only thing that I could look at, again, going back to the point of Cena wants to take out Cody, Rock has been wanting to take out Cody. The only thing I see is Rock getting upset at Cena because Cena didn't beat Cody. Well, then Cena can just shoot back at Rock and say, "Well, you didn't beat him either." Or no, no, Rock did beat him.
Yes.
So Rock beat him, and he can say, "Okay, Cena, you didn't beat him. I beat him." So they could be at odds, but you're not really going to have a Cena Rock feud at this point. So I'm with you, man. As much as I don't want to see it, I think Cena probably wins here, and you set up whatever's next down the road. We saw on SmackDown this past Friday, the finally Randy Orton acknowledging the fact that he is going to come after Cody Rhodes championship at some point. And then you have Drew McIntyre getting involved. Jared, Backlash, the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania, is in Randy Orton's hometown of St. Louis. Perfect chance for him to have a world title match. But if Cena's the champion, maybe it's you loop Cody in, you get a triple threat there. I don't know, but I'm just trying to speculate what the future might be depending on who the champion is.
So one thing before we move on that just kind of keeps irking me that I think will play into what you just said. They
Mm-hmm.
still have not explained. Nothing's been said by Cena anything about his soul and it being sold. So
Right.
what I think that they have to wrap up is whenever that you had Cena actually turn on Cody, what would have happened if Cody had joined with The Rock? So that makes me think that maybe behind closed doors, Cena and The Rock, like they were already on the same side. They're kind of on equal footing. Cena didn't actually sell his soul. It's just that they both want control and both want their grips on that title right there that you see Cena holding in his hands as he did the ultimate betrayal to Cody. But I do think that Randy Orton is going to fit into this picture somehow.
Mm.
And I do think we get Cena versus Randy one last time before Cena calls it quits. But yeah, man, as far as I don't know, man, it just seems like all these stories are going to end up having to intertwine. I truly believe.
And I think that's just the beauty of the way that Triple H and the creative team is telling stories now. It doesn't have to be that everything is in this alternate universe because it's not. It's
Right.
all still the same product. It might be on different shows per se, but it's all still the same product. And Jared, to that point, it makes it feel like we're all vying for one goal, and that's the
Yes.
championship. Everybody wants the championship. Rock wants it. Cody has it. Randy wants it. Kevin Owens wanted it so much that he would betray Cody for it. You got Cena, obviously, who wants his 17th championship. And then one of these days, Jared Roman Reigns is coming back for what's rightfully his. And then CM Punk wants the title. And Seth Rollins is going to want the title. All these guys want the title. Now, we know there's a Gunther championship that's out there that we could possibly go for. Okay, I get it. But that's the beauty of this storytelling, Jared, is they say so much by saying so little. All they have to do is just drop these nuggets, man. And it just feels like one cohesive story that all could come to a head at some point.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember like back in grade school, whenever that you had like these little dots and you would connect the dots in certain orders and it would like
Of
make a
course.
picture.
Mhm.
I think that's exactly what they're doing, man, is it's like you just throw out all these dots and these are all the big personalities, all the big entities. And at any given time, they can draw a line from this one to that one to this one. And I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, if they take advantage of it, this is professional wrestling the way it should be done.
Yep. I mean, we are set up for, like you said, a story to next year's WrestleMania. I mean, heck, we could be talking about WrestleMania 43 in Nashville, cross our fingers, that we're building towards. I mean, we're set up for look, Cena is done after this year. Okay, let's let him ride off into the sunset. Great. So let's just, for giggles, Cody versus Rock next year, New Orleans, WrestleMania main event. Fantastic. Nobody's going to be mad about that. How about the following year? Cody versus CM Punk. I don't know anybody that's going to argue about that. Guess what else is still on the table, Jared? Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns part 3. Nobody's going to argue about that at this point. We still haven't gotten a proper Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins one-on-one match, maybe for the championship. Randy Orton's going to ride off into the sunset soon. Who wants to see the Legend Killer again against Cody Rhodes? Well, there's a WrestleMania main event too. Oh, wait a minute, Jared. Wait. The main event that was ruined last year by the Cody Crybabies, Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Jared, we're telling all of these long-term stories. All of it's in play.
And something that you didn't mention that I haven't heard anybody mentioning, and maybe I'm completely off base. But as we're talking about all these people, what goes off in my head? Jey Uso. He is a part of this whole Roman Reigns, The Rock family. At some point, they might as well do it because everybody knows the world title is basically secondary.
Yep.
How about Jey Uso pops up and they unify him? He says, I've got a world title, you've got a world title. My Samoan family, we run this place. I'll put mine up against yours. Boom. Yep. Unification, one worthless title gone. There's Jay in the picture.
Yep. That's it. That's the easy way to do it. You're 100% right. All right. We're going to talk about Jey Uso here in a minute. But before we do, we appreciate you guys being tuned in with us. If you're watching live, please hit the thumbs up button on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Almost 90% of our viewership is not subscribed. Guys, doesn't cost you a thing. Helps the show out a ton. We would appreciate it so very much. And again, if you're watching live, drop those comments, drop those questions in. We'll be happy to answer them. If you're watching the replay, send us those comments as well. We got a really nice comment from a viewer earlier this week on a different video that we are going to discuss on the show here in just a little while. So stay tuned for that. It'll be an interesting conversation. But let's talk about the other major thing, Jared, that we saw on Monday Night Raw tonight, or this afternoon, rather. I'm glad it's the last time I have to say that. We have been speculating. You mentioned Jey Uso, and we have talked ad nauseum about Jey Uso and how this feud just seemingly is going nowhere. And we're getting the same thing over and over and over. Well, Jared, tonight was the fire lit in this story. This image, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're only listening on podcast, please head over to the YouTube channel. Check out exactly what we're talking about. This image of Gunther being just dripped in Jimmy Uso's blood after this vicious assault that he put on Jey Uso's brother on Monday Night Raw. Jared, this is exactly what we needed. Andy called it last week that Gunther just needed to obliterate Jimmy Uso, and it happened tonight on Raw. I was stoked when this one went down.
Red equals green, man. Red equals green. They really wanted to light a match to this whole thing, throw it on the fire, throw some more logs on the old furnace. That's what they did, man, because, I mean, Jay's brother split wide open from head to toe, wearing the old crimson mask, and then Gunther does what's awesome, man. He takes that blood and he wipes on himself like a war paint of some kind. I mean, it was just awesome.
It really was, man. And I mean, even last week when Jimmy slapped the snot out of Gunther, man, that was
he got him.
Easiest slaps. Like, I was all in for it. I'm like, okay, yes, this is what we need. And then tonight, man, really just took it to another level. If you wanted Jey Uso to be the underdog, if you wanted him to fight underneath, well, now he has a reason. Now we really do have, okay, he's got nothing now. Okay, he finally recruited his brother. All right, everything is right in the world. Nope. Gunther takes him out. Jay's by himself again. Jay's now going to doubt himself again because he can't beat Gunther by himself. He's a shell of who he once was. And it all sets up for Jimmy Uso to return at WrestleMania to be by the side of Jay as he goes and has the feel good moment to win the championship. But tonight, just it set that up perfectly.
Oh yeah, man. I still don't think. I mean, you can clearly tell, even somebody who's not a wrestling fan, and you let them watch the show. Everybody knows that Universal title is the big gold. Basically, it's the one everybody wants. But what they did tonight was they at least tried their best to make this whole world title situation mean more. I still don't think it's where it needs to be. I'm still nowhere near as interested in that match as I am in the other title picture as a whole. But I mean, they did their best, man, and I thought it looked pretty daggone good.
Yeah, I agree, man. Do you think? I know we've been speculating this over the last couple of weeks. Again, if you're new to the show, you can go back and check out previous episodes. It's available in playlists on the YouTube channel. It's available full-length episodes, whatever your heart desires. Go back and check it out. But if you're a returning viewer of the show, you've heard us talk over the last couple of weeks just about we can't pinpoint exactly what it is with this world title feud. Like, obviously, we want to care about Jey Uso more. Obviously, we know that Jey Uso isn't the best bell-to-bell wrestler that there is. And Gunther's 666-day Intercontinental Championship reign was absolutely incredible, but they've sort of dropped the ball with this world title run for one reason or another. So, Jared, can you pinpoint what the issue is with the world title right now? Or do you think it's a perfect storm of exactly what I just said, the combined Jey Uso with Gunther and with Cody feeling as important as he is?
I honestly think that what makes the world title feel less than is that you have all the guys at the top that are all going after the Universal title. I mean, you need more people, just like we were talking about, how that you had Jey Uso and his merry band of jobbers is what you see coming out there to go up against Gunther. Nobody cares about these people.
Right.
Otis and whatever his friggin' name is. Just the people involved are not respectable enough that it's going to bring respect to the title that they're going after, which in this situation is the world championship title.
Which is really interesting because Gunther prides himself on being the ring general and bringing pride to the mat and that kind of thing. It just, I don't know. It's not getting it done. Do you think, I'm not saying he's got to beat and batter and bloody everybody every single week and paint their blood on his chest, but do you think if we saw more of what we saw with Gunther tonight, if we saw more of that, would you be more invested? Because Seth Rollins brought this title to fruition a little over a year and a half ago now, I guess it was. And he ran with it all the way to WrestleMania 40 and did a great job with it. They tried to use it to build Damian Priest, and they built a great wrestler out of him, but it wasn't to the level that Seth Rollins is. So is it just that we need a better storyteller, a better personality to carry the title, a better in-ring performer to carry the title, someone who's going to wrestle every night, defend the title on Raw like Seth Rollins did? Like, what's the solution, do you think?
The solution, I think, is that you change the world title to the proper meaning that it has, which is kind of like the Intercontinental title. I mean, if you have the world title, and supposedly we're supposed to believe that it's on the same level as the Universal title, so you're automatically going to take the two and compare them. There's no comparison. But let's say we labeled it as the Intercontinental Championship, the working man's title. That's a whole lot easier to buy than, okay, well, we have this less than title. It almost makes it seem worthless in comparison to the Universal title. I don't know, man. I just think that they should stop trying to make it something that it's not.
Right. Yeah, I get trying to build it up, and I get trying to have a workhorse title, as Seth Rollins called it. And I get trying to have a title for this brand, especially because it's on Netflix, which you would think because it's on Netflix that it would be more important than what it is. But, I don't know if putting the title on Jey Uso will help that or will hurt that. I don't even know that it's going to go on Jey Uso. We'll see what happens at WrestleMania. Not going to give our predictions tonight. We're going to save that for our prediction special coming up the week of WrestleMania. I think we're what they say tonight, Jared, 19 days away from WrestleMania. So we're getting close. We're going to have a full week of content surrounding WrestleMania. So predictions and fun specials, all those kind of things. So just make sure that you keep it locked in right here. If you're listening on podcast, just make sure that you are following whatever platform you're on. And then, of course, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Let's take a pause for the cause. Hear a little word from our friends at Sports Wire Radio and the Reverend Tom
Looking
Rice.
for all the latest happenings in the world of sports and wrestling? Well, you're in luck because Sports Wire Radio has you covered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. With great shows in the world of sports, such as the Pinstripe Chronicles, hosted by Uncle Tats, Donald Stewart, and Rob Barrows. New York Baseball Talk with Chris Bazaya and Rob Maraska. The Liftoff Jets, also hosted by Chris Bazaya and Sharman Phillip. Neil Villapiano and the Devil's State of Mind. Randy Dillon's Hockey Fan Chat. In the world of wrestling, Sports Wire Radio has you covered with Squared Circle Radio, featuring Chris Belcher, Andy York, and Jared Justice. Those sit-down marks with DB, Primo, AJ, and Michael. A work in progress, featuring the Mayor of Canton, Piles, and Glenn Abbott. You can catch all of these great shows and more anytime, anywhere, and any place via the Listen Live button on sportswireradio.org, and you can also catch Sports Wire Radio anytime on YouTube at Sports Wire Radio 6579 to catch all the latest happenings in the world of wrestling. Sports Wire Radio has you covered. It's all sports matters and all wrestling matters here on Sports Wire Radio. I am your host, the owner of Sports Wire Radio, the #1 global radio station, the owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation, and one of the owners of the Pride Wrestling Federation. Your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce.
Appreciate that dude so much. Appreciate all that he does for our show, for our brand. We're trying to work out some sort of co-branded show with him between now and WrestleMania. So look for that in the next coming weeks, whether that is on SportsWire, whether that is here, whether it's on both. We'll let you know when that is coming. Again, we appreciate all that Tom Bryce does for us. All right, Jared, let's keep it going with, again, what we thought was going to lead the show this week, and that is the contract signing for the other main event of WrestleMania, the night one seemingly main event, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk, a triple threat match with, right now, Jared, nothing technically on the line, but as we speculated a little bit ago, everything is on the line in this triple threat match. It's really a balance of power of sorts. Which way is Paul Heyman going to go? I'll say this, Jared. What's exciting about this triple threat match is people can question how they've booked it. People can question why they're doing it all they want. But just like the Cena and Cody match, this triple threat match, I honestly think it's unpredictable as to who's going to win. Like, a lot of people online have speculated, oh, it's definitely this guy. Oh, it's definitely that guy for this reason or that reason. Jared, I don't know who's going to win, man, and that makes it even more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you have, like you said, basically the three top names, or three of the top names for sure.
Yep.
I mean, you got to throw Cody in there, I guess, but you have the three main guys that are all just going at each other, and whether there's anything on the line or not, you can bet that it's going to be worked in the storyline after the match, that one of them say, well, I won up against these two other guys who are the best in the business, so I deserve fill in the blank.
Yep, absolutely. No doubt about that. And the storytelling in this, like we've been saying this whole show, weaving things in and out, the storytelling in this was fantastic. I'm going to flash the same picture back up here because, Jared, I don't care if you're a CM Punk fan or not, because everybody that's listened to this show for a long time knows how opposed to CM Punk that I've been for a long time. But when you watch that moment right there that is on your YouTube screen, the way that they were able to tell the story of this being the main event of WrestleMania and working it into the contract, and not only all of that, because those were real tears in the eyes of CM Punk and Paul Heyman when this was revealed, but to have Heyman be the one to tell CM Punk on national television that he was going to be in the main event, dude, it's oh my gosh, it was just chef's kiss, man. It was so good.
It was awesome, man. And then we find that at the end that wasn't even the favor.
Right.
The favor's still in play. So, yep. I mean, we got all this kind of for free, or Punk did, because he didn't really ask for it. It just kind of came to be. And it's not even that he had to use his favor in order to get what he wanted.
Okay. So lots of people have been speculating. There's one narrative that seems to have stuck out there about the favor. So I'm going to ask you, is the favor that Heyman has to be in Punk's corner for this match, or is it something more than that?
That seems to be the most logical thing, because I don't really know what else that you could have. Heyman doesn't have the stroke or the power to put to say, okay, well, whoever wins gets a shot at whoever the world or the universal champion is. He doesn't really seem to have that kind of power. It has to be something that Heyman can do for Punk. And the only thing that I can really see that he can do would be to accompany him at ringside and be his wise man in this triple threat match.
I don't know, something in me, because they've been planting this seed of this favor since WrestleMania last year. Let's go back and
it seems too easy.
Right. I think that's what I'm saying. It's like, look at it from last year when Roman Reigns went away. Solo Sikoa is heading up the bloodline. And then the night in Chicago, they threatened to attack Punk. And Heyman comes out and he says, no. Per Roman Reigns, as a favor to me, CM Punk cannot be touched. Okay, why? All right, we don't know. So then Roman Reigns comes back. He needs another member for War Games. And Paul Heyman calls up a favor for CM Punk and says, I need you here. Well, that's a favor for Heyman. That's two favors for Heyman now. And then Punk says, well, I need one in return. So all that to say, Jared, they've been planning this for quite a while. It's not like this, storyline that we just threw in there for War Games just to make it interesting. There are steps here for this. That's what makes me think it's bigger than just Heyman's got to walk out with Punk. Like he's got to be in his corner. Yeah, that's going to drive Roman Reigns insane, but Seth Rollins doesn't care. So I think it's more than that.
Yeah, if you didn't know any better, you would think that somehow Roman is going to acquire that universal title and that Punk's favor is going to be, I want a shot at Roman and that title.
Yep.
But right now, Roman doesn't have it. So other than you have Roman win at WrestleMania, and then he does, get the title shot and he immediately wins it, and then Punk cashes in the favor, I don't know what else you can do besides the whole accompany to the ring deal.
Here's something that I think, and I could be just going out on a limb here, but I was listening to Sam Roberts earlier this morning, and so I can't take all the credit for this, but Sam painted the picture of the fact that the old tribal chief is starting to come back in Roman Reigns. We're starting to see, hey, Punk, I did all this. Acknowledge me. I did this. Hey, Seth, I made all this. This wouldn't be, we wouldn't have Netflix deals and $1 billion deals if it wasn't for me. I did this. So we're starting to see the old Roman Reigns come out. Well, Jared, we're talking about world title win. Okay, maybe it's not Cody's title. maybe the way we bring some credibility back to the World Heavyweight title is if Roman Reigns wins it. Well, what if that old, just hear me out a minute. What if that old tribal chief gets greedy and his cousin Jey Uso is the one holding that championship? And he says, nuh-uh, I want it. If anybody in our family is going to be dripped in gold, it's going to be me. Roman takes it from Jey. And then to your point about Punk cashing in a favor, that's how we get the world title, and we don't affect Cody and we don't affect Cena.
I'm not a big fan of that. I would be a big fan of Roman winning the triple threat. Cody or Cena, either one could win. You have Roman beat them and win the Universal title, and then that's when you bring Jey back in the picture, and Roman gets greedy. He says, this Universal title, it's not enough. I want all the gold. That's how I would play it if I was going to go any route near the one you just laid out.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of different ways that they can go with it. I've thought all along that Punk's favor has to have the world title in it, because it seemed like the
Universal or the world,
all of the above, some form of world championship. Because after all, Punk is on Raw, and that championship is on Raw. I don't know how that affects Roman Reigns. That's why I said just throw him in there if Jey wins it. But I feel like the favor has to involve the world title in some way. But regardless, what would be really interesting, Jared, you brought it up earlier, the speculation of Seth Rollins aligning with Paul Heyman. Then the favor gets even more interesting if Seth Rollins aligns with Paul Heyman, because I thought, we're talking about storytelling and how great it was. Man, I thought it was so good when Seth Rollins finds out that this is going to be the main event. And we have heard Seth preach and preach and preach about how important the WrestleMania main event is. And he did it in that promo even. He said, it's sacred. It's what I've worked my whole life for. And it's the one thing that I tried to prevent you from getting, CM Punk. And CM Punk gets it. So Seth Rollins fulfills his dreams, but he fulfilled CM Punk's at the same time. So, man, it could get really interesting if Rollins and Heyman do align.
Yeah, I could even see that in my head as you were saying it. You have Seth with that obnoxious laugh. And there's Paul Heyman, the little penguin or walrus waddling around there beside him. And then out comes Punk and says, remember that favor? Cashing it in now. And then you just see all the life and the color just drain right out of Seth. Oh, it would be such a great thing.
Oh, it would be so funny. I mean, you talk about a twist in this storyline. Where Paul Heyman is going to land in this whole thing is just so interesting to me, because of the guys that are in this triple threat match, Seth Rollins is the only one he's never had an affiliation with. So that would be intriguing. But what was really funny, Jared, is after Roman tells Punk, hey, one man's one man's favor. One man's dream is another man's favor. Something like that. And then he tells Punk, hey, you need to acknowledge me. Acknowledge me for what I did for you. And Jared, you saw Paul Heyman. You read his lips. He told him not to acknowledge Roman. Like, just to add another layer to what is happening right here, you think that Heyman is the wise man for Roman Reigns. He's pulling all the strings for Roman, yet he's telling Punk, don't acknowledge him. Like, back to the point that I was making about the old tribal chief coming up. Do you think Heyman is seeing that? And he's trying to push that back down and to not let Roman turn into what he was? Like, so many ways we can go here.
I almost think that it's almost like Paul feels and knows that Roman is not what he used to be. And So I think that because Roman has kind of lost that killer instinct, maybe that would be the reason that Paul aligns himself with Seth. He's hungry, he's determined, regardless of how he does it, he's going to do it. And by doing it, I mean win that belt.
It's so interesting, man. It's so interesting. Oh my goodness. I can't, again, so we said about Kobe. I said it at the top of this segment. This is unpredictable, and I am here for it. Like I know Andy has said all the time on this podcast, the match is going to be good. He would rather see a singles match, but dude, like as we dive more and more into this story, and as we peel back the layers of this onion, this is what a triple threat match is made of. It's these stories that are so intertwined. You have to put them in a triple threat match. Like there's no other way around it. Like you have to, people online speculate that, you know, this was just because of what happened at the Royal Rumble. Like, oh, they decided day of Royal Rumble that this is how they were going to get eliminated and this is where we're going. No, Jared, they've been planting these seeds for a long time. Long time. And don't even get us started on the history between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and where they could go and that story that they can tell.
I want at some point a documentary or a podcast or whatever that shows exactly how from last WrestleMania to this WrestleMania, when the people behind the scenes knew what direction they were going, or maybe they've known it the whole time.
Yep.
And then how they tweaked it as they went along based on crowd response, based on injury, or whatever else may have happened. I would just love to know.
I know that a lot of people aren't taking stock into last year's behind the curtain documentary where they talked about the Rock and Roman and Cody situation. But having said that, Triple H said in that documentary, they had their WrestleMania plans finalized in October. And then the Rock thing happened and they changed them. All that to say, if I had to bet, around SummerSlam to October is probably when they figured these things out. But I'm thinking if this whole Rock thing was part of it, obviously his schedule's up in the air. They had something from WrestleMania last year all the way to this year, like, you know, like they used to do back in the day. Sit by Vince's pool, pal, and we book it year to year, pal, and we book it backwards and blah, 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 you know?
Yeah, but he's the guy we can't mention anymore, remember? No, man, it would be hard for anyone to legitimately convince me that they had all of this planned out from last WrestleMania. I think that they probably had like the building blocks in place, but I don't think that they had the entire house built starting at last WrestleMania. That's why I would love to know along the way what made them tweak it when they knew what. I need to know these things. And that's great because it's been a long time since there's been anything on wrestling that I've cared enough to want to know all this information.
And that brings me to our next segment. Before we get there, though, I want to remind everybody, like this video, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It would mean the world to us, helps us so much, and does not cost you a thing. Please do that for us. We would appreciate it. Jared, that transitions us into the comment that I mentioned earlier that we got earlier this week on a video. It's from Ian's World. I'm not sure if he is a subscriber to the show or not. I commented back today, told him that we were going to discuss this on the show. So hopefully he checks us out and we can have some good conversation about it. So this comment, to give everyone context, came on a video that we released right after the Royal Rumble, where people online were speculating that Triple H needed to be fired from his position as the chief content officer, which is absurd. Okay.
Yes.
So this user, thank you, by the way, for dropping your comments. This is a platform for everybody to have an opinion. No matter if I disagree or I agree, this is a platform where we can all have our own opinion. That's the beauty of the world of wrestling. Andy likes AEW. I do not. Jared does not. That's okay. It's not a big deal. He likes one thing, we like another. Same thing with this person's comment. He was saying that the current wrestling product is trash. just absolute trash. And I said, why? Please explain yourself. And he sent me this whole long comment, and I'm not going to read it all. I'm just going to just hit some high points, and then Jared and I are going to discuss it because it does apply. So he said, Jay and Gunther is very Disney-like, very predictable, and uninteresting. Okay, I'll stop right there and acknowledge we have felt the same way about it, so we're on the same page there. He also goes on to say that Cena and Cody hasn't given us anything, no explanation about The Rock, no anything. Well, that's probably intentional. They're probably holding back some things. He says that women's wrestling is garbage. He grew up watching wrestling and thinks that WWE and TKO are just mailing it in and trying to just make a huge profit by giving us crap on television. And he says that wrestling just isn't what it is, not the same quality as it was in ring wise in the early 2000s. So again, he's been watching for a long time, just as we are. Jared, I'll let you take that wherever you want. As I read those things and as you hear his thoughts on what's happening in the current world of wrestling, how do you take that? What are your thoughts, even as a longtime wrestling fan?
My first question, which I guess you kind of answered, but the first thing that I would want to ask, I guess we're just going to call him Ian.
Yes.
Ian's World, Ian. What you're comparing this to? Are you comparing it to, if he is comparing it to the early 2000s WWF product, that would have been what, during the Ruthless Aggression type
Would have
era?
been, it
End
would have
of
been,
Attitude?
would have been end of Attitude right around the time that WCW was purchased, that sort of thing. So Invasion angle, Rock's about to leave, Stone Cold's about to leave, Triple H gets hurt, yada, yada, yada.
So looking back at that time of WWF, a lot of the stuff that was going on then I thought was trash, especially compared to what we have now. If we were trying to make the argument of, like, I don't even know how you would. I don't know what kind of argument you would make to validate this, because I feel like we have so much, like we said, storytelling, and things are making sense, and we have so many people on top that we're literally having to do a triangle match because we can't have a one-on-one. There's too many big players.
Right.
I don't understand how he's arriving at that conclusion. I strongly disagree. But I don't know specifically in his head what he's comparing today's product to think that it's garbage. I just don't see it, man.
I'm going to read exactly what he said here. And again, Ian, if you're watching this, thank you so much for your comment. Like, we're certainly not trying to tear down your comment, because we take
it's interesting
opinion. It's an interesting thought. And Jared and I want to get our thoughts out because we're longtime wrestling fans as well. We miss a lot of the things about wrestling. Jared and I, the majority of the time that we're talking about something old that happened, something that we miss about the world of wrestling, but we also understand how good the storytelling is. I'm going to read an exact quote from this comment that maybe gives us a little more context. He said, "When I go back and watch wrestling from the early 2000s, you immediately notice the actual wrestling on the main event level absolutely blows anything you will see out of the water, even at the highest level. And it's not even close. Everything looks scripted and rehearsed now on the mic and in the ring. No meaningful psychology, no intensity or aggression, sloppy looking spots that lack intensity with a nice hyper PG sugar coated makes for absolute trash that I can almost guarantee their target demographic is 5 to 10-year-old children." End quote.
Wow. Yeah, I strongly disagree. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. What are you thinking?
I don't either, man. Like, I look back, the thing that really gets me is him talking about the 2000s being a better in-ring product than right now. Like, I don't. We're coming off of the Attitude Era at that point. I don't see the in-ring product, especially from that era, being what it is right now. I just don't. I just the in-ring product right now is, I would argue, Jared, is it the best it's ever been in WWE?
I would think so.
Look who it is. Our co-host is in the chat. Andy York. Hard disagree, he says. I'll throw that comment up there. Hard disagree. I mean, yeah. Jared, as an old school wrestling fan, what we're talking about storytelling, right? What else are you seeing in today's current landscape that draws you in like the old school product drew you in? Like, are there specific things that you see that it's like, yeah, man, I got to tune in for that?
The whole situation at the top, man, with all the characters that are involved with Roman and Cody and Seth and Punk, and even you could throw in like Drew McIntyre, even Logan Paul kind of working his way up. I just, again, I don't understand how the only thing that I can see that might hold some water with what he says is looking back at the intensity in the ring during the Ruthless Aggression era. I mean, these guys were hitting each other hard. They were making it look real. There are times in today's product that you can almost tell that they're not even making contact. But as far as all the moves and the story and everything as a whole, I'm such a big fan of today's product right now that I don't understand how you could possibly think it's garbage.
Like, listen, you guys haven't known Jared as long as I have, but for Jared to be sitting here in a John Cena t-shirt tells you how invested he is in the current product right now. Let me just throw that out there again. Ian, we appreciate your comment so very much. And again, we are not going to, I don't want this to deter people from commenting on our stuff, because I don't want people to think that we're going to put it on the show and tell you that we hard disagree. I think it's a discussion to be had. Again, this is a platform that we all are welcome to our own opinions, and say what we want. It's what wrestling is all about. That's totally fine. Andy York in the comments. Thank you, Andy. Matches today seem to matter more than they have in the last decade or so. I mean, I can get behind that. I can definitely get behind that, because I feel like there's, as we said earlier, Jared, the way that they're intertwining all of these main event players, there's more to fight for. I think that's why matches mean more, is there's more to fight for.
Yeah, and you're not just randomly throwing guys in the ring. Like,
Yes.
there's a purpose for them to all be there. I mean, if Ian had made that comment before Triple H kind of got back in control, then I could see how he might have a point.
Yep.
But with the product that we've got right now, at least for the past year, I just think it's been excellent. I mean, matches matter because that everyone involved matters. And we take what happens today and we use it for the future. And in the future, we can even go back and look on the past without it trying to like be covered up or acting like it just never happened.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. We're acknowledging the past. We're acknowledging Ring of Honor on commentary and TNA on commentary. And I think Pat McAfee said Bullet Club tonight when he was talking about AJ Styles. And, so all this, that, and the other, like, we're allowed to talk about these things. Speaking of talking about these things, let's do a couple of rapid fire, quick hitter things, man, as we get ready to go out. I just mentioned Pat McAfee and Bullet Club. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul is official for WrestleMania. I'm here for it, man. I'm really looking forward to this match.
That's going to be a heck of a match. And two guys that are going to go out there with the determination to absolutely just blow the roof off the place. I mean, it's going to be, as long as this doesn't end up being Shinsuke versus AJ, then I think that this is going to be absolutely excellent and a barn burner.
I don't know why there would be so much hype around AJ and Logan Paul like there was against, with AJ and Shinsuke. But I will say this, AJ is one of my favorites. And I find myself always looking forward to a Logan Paul match. I don't know why, but I do. And I think this is going to be fantastic. From Friday Night SmackDown, the tease is official. Rey Fénix debuts this coming Friday in Chicago. Joe Tessitore even said it on commentary, acknowledged the Lucha Brothers tag team. Man, I'm excited for this. I can't wait to see if what they've done with Penta is any indication of how they're going to treat Rey Fénix when he comes in. Oh, AEW has just lost another one.
I mean, looking at AEW and the roster that they have, if I was going to start picking and choosing guys to bring over to the WWE, I mean, the Lucha Brothers would have been two that I was like, must have.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
This is like a dream. I wish the Undertaker was still around and that they could have somehow been like the dark gimmicks, that they could have done something with that. But yeah, man, I'm here for it.
Would you align him with Damian Priest?
It's an option. Definitely an option. You'd have to keep Damian strong and continue to build him. But yes, I do think that could work.
Or do you align them with the returning Aleister Black, who we are seeing teases of, and seemingly that's who it's going to be? Do you align the Lucha Brothers with Aleister Black?
Man, I mean, you could do like a House of Black type deal in the WWE. Oh, that would be so good.
Oh, I'm pumped for it. Okay, one more thing. I don't have a graphic of it, but I read this earlier, and you might be interested in this, and you might not. Karrion Kross wrestled in the dark match tonight before Monday Night Raw. And he has his old entrance music and his old presentation back for that. So no more Final Testament, no more any of that. It's the old Karrion Kross gimmick, no gladiator stuff, no none of that. Do we have hope for Karrion Kross? What do we think?
I've always liked Karrion Kross. Something about his persona. It seems like there's so much there that they haven't done anything with.
Right.
So I don't think it's too late, but we need to start now if we're going to build him.
We need to do something, man. His return to the company was confronting Roman Reigns during his world title run, and now we got to do something. You're exactly right. All right. I think that's going to do it for the show, man. We covered a whole lot of ground tonight. We appreciate you guys being with us. Again, if you're watching the replay, drop those comments and questions. We would appreciate that so very much, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Jared, anything else to add before we tie a bow on this one?
I just think that, if you're supporting Cody Rhodes, if you really want to show your support for him, hit that subscribe button. And I mean, if you're supporting John Cena, we got to see that too. So hit the subscribe button. Either way it goes, hit that button.
Listen, if you like wrestling, you should like what we're doing here. All right. We're just hanging out talking about wrestling. And even if we're not your favorite program, that's fine too. Just hit the subscribe button. Helps us a ton. Doesn't cost you a thing. All right. That is going to do it. We appreciate you guys being tuned in with us. For Mr. Jared Justice, my name is Chris Belcher. Of course, we will be back next week, regularly scheduled time after Monday Night Raw goes off the air. They're back in the States, so we will be back for you as soon as Raw goes off the air. We'll be live. That's Jared Justice. My name is Chris Belcher. This has been Squared Circle Radio, and we will catch you guys down the road.